Hey everybody, this is Rykard here again, and welcome to another Pokemon Sets video. Today, as you can tell by the picture, I'm going to be doing an episode entirely dedicated to Seaking. So let's get started by taking a look at its typing, abilities, and stats. So first off, Seaking is a mono water type Pokemon that's been around since Generation 1, and is probably one of the most recognizable Pokemon because of that. As for its abilities, Seaking is actually very fortunate in the fact that all three of these abilities are at least somewhat usable in competitive play, which is something not a lot of Pokemon can say. The first one is Swift Swim, which makes it so that Seaking doubles its speed under rain, which could be really great on offensive Seaking sets due to the fact that you can become very fast and with the right EV investment, very powerful. As for the second ability, Water Veil, this ability is actually really useful, especially for physical attacking stats, because it makes it so that Seaking can never be burned. So you can actually safely run a physical attacking set on Seaking without the risk of having your physical attack stat reduced by the burn status. And this also could potentially have some use on a more defensive Seaking set, just because you won't actually have to worry about getting burned, and really only more so about toxic or paralysis. But lastly, Lightning Rod is its Stream ability, which is arguably Seaking's best ability for a number of reasons, but the main one is the fact that it gives Seaking an immunity to electric type moves, which it would normally take super effective damage from. So if you're running Lightning Rod on Seaking, you're actually only weak to grass type moves, which is really awesome. But it also has the added bonus of increasing your special attack by one stage every time you're attacked by an electric type move. So that actually makes Seaking very usable as a potential special attacker as well, just for the option of maybe getting a special attacking boost. But as for the stats, Seaking has 80 HP, 65 defense, and 80 special defense as its defensive stats overall. And what's really great about that is because of the 80 HP and 80 special defense, you could actually run a pretty decent special defensive set on Seaking, which is what I'm actually going to show you later. And Seaking actually has a lot of support moves to make use of any kind of defensive set. But to keep in mind, its physical defense will generally be lacking a bit, but since Seaking does have the option of using Scald as a move to burn potential physical attackers, this physical defense stat really isn't that big of a problem, even though it's lower than the special defensive one. But as for its attacking stats, its physical attack is actually really good, sitting at 92, meaning that Seaking can actually be a very threatening physical attacker, and it also has a lot of really good physical attacking moves to make use of this attack stat, and that's actually going to be on the first set that I show you today. But unfortunately, its special attack is only at 65, so it's really not going to be as potent as your physical attack, but because of the option of running Lightning Rod to increase your special attack, this special attack, or this lower special attack, can somewhat be remedied on a set like that. And also, its speed, being only 68, can also be remedied due to the ability Swift Swim, or the fact that Seaking learns agility. So in all honesty, even the stats that Seaking is lacking a little bit in, it has ways of remedying those with various moves in its move pool or abilities. So that's actually really cool for Seaking, and makes it a lot more well-rounded than it might seem that it is. So with that, let's get into a few movesets that I have for you today. So for this first set, we're going to start off by giving Seaking an Adamant Nature to increase its physical attack but lower its special attack. And as for the ability, you can actually take your pick on this one because all three can actually be usable for the set. Swift Swim could be useful if you want to be running Rain Dance, and it's great because obviously it'll double your speed in rain, and it'll also boost the power of your stab waterfalls. Water Veil could be useful if you don't want to ever get burned, which is actually very helpful for a set like this because we are physically based. And Lightning Rod can be used just because it's an immunity, and why would you pass up an immunity if you can be immune to something? That's basically the reasoning in my book. But as for the EVs, we're going to put 252 into physical attack to give us our max physical attack, 4 for defense, and then 252 EVs into speed to give us our highest speed possible with the Adamant Nature. And as for the item, we're going to be running a Life Orb as a way of boosting the damage of all of our attacks. But as for the moves, the first one that we could run would be either Rain Dance or Agility. Either way, we're going to be doubling our speed, so it's basically dependent on which ability you use. If you're going to be using Swift Swim, you're obviously going to be going with Rain Dance, but if you're going to use the other two, Agility is the better option. But for the moves, they're pretty much straightforward, and Seaking is actually fortunate enough to be able to make use of one of its new Black and White 2 move tutor moves. So we're basically getting coverage with Waterfall, Mega Horn, and Drill Run. And that's really great because with Mega Horn and Drill Run, you're actually getting really good coverage against things that are super effective against you. Mega Horn being super effective against grass types, which Seaking is weak against, and Drill Run being super effective against electric types, which Seaking is also weak against, unless of course you're running Lightning Rod. But overall, this is just a pretty straightforward set. Boost Seaking speed, and then try to take things out with your physical attack stat. And Waterfall obviously also has that chance to flinch, so with your increased speed, you actually have a chance to flinch because you're not slower than your opponent, and that could actually be very useful as well. So overall, just a pretty solid physical attacking set for Seaking to run. Pretty straightforward and very usable. As for this next set, we're going to be giving Seaking a little bit more of a defensive role, so we're actually going to be starting off by giving Seaking a Calm Nature to increase its special defense but lower its physical attack. And then we're going to be using the ability Lightning Rod as a way to get that immunity to electric moves, making us only weak to grass. Now, as I said before, Water Veil could be considered just so that you don't have to worry about getting burned, but I think Lightning Rod is just a stronger ability to use overall. But as for the EVs, we're going to put 252 into HP, 4 into special attack, and then 252 into special defense to give us our highest special defense possible. And as for the item, we're going to be giving Leftovers to Seaking as a way to allow it to recover HP every turn. So for the moveset, the first one we're going to be wanting to go with is Protect as a way to obviously allow us to scout moves, recover more leftovers, and also potentially stall for more burn or toxic damage depending on the moves that you use with the set. But for the only attacking move, or the main attacking move of the set that we're expecting to do damage with at least, we're going to be going with Scald just because it's kind of the standard to run on most defensive water type Pokemon these days. And obviously the 30% chance to burn with it is very useful. But the next few moves we go for are actually kind of up for grabs just because Seaking does have a lot of supporting options with its move pool. So the first one that we can go with would be Knockoff, and this is actually really useful now because normally you couldn't have run Lightning Rod with Knockoff because Knockoff was a 4th gen tutor move, but now since it's a Black and White 2 tutor move, you can actually run Knockoff with Lightning Rod. And that's really great because we can obviously cripple Pokemon that have items that are very annoying, like Choice users or a Violet Pokemon. So that's actually really great for Seaking as an added utility for it to be able to do. But if you also want to run another status to make Seaking kind of a dual statuser, Toxic is another option, and obviously Toxic with Protect is a very good combination, so that could also be another added option for stalling with Seaking. But as for the last move slot, we could either go with Mud Slap or Haze. Now, Mud Slap might seem really weird to you, but it's actually really useful. I can't remember the name of the person, but I really hope they comment on this video saying, hey, I taught Rykard this. Mud Slap is really great because it obviously lowers your opponent's accuracy without fail, and no, this isn't banned, only evasion moves that increase your own evasion are banned. So you can actually use Mud Slap to lower your opponent's accuracy. Sorry, that's what I meant before. And this is actually more useful than you might think, trust me. And that could even be more useful as well to allow Seaking to stall even more, potentially with toxic or burn damage. So this is actually a very viable move to use on a set like this. And also, Haze could be another option if you want to allow if you don't want your opponent setting up stat boosts, because Haze obviously gets rid of all of them, and that could be very useful on Seaking for stopping a sweep. So that is another option that Seaking could potentially run. But as long as you make sure you're not using Mud Slap and Haze together, you'll be fine, because Haze will eliminate all of the accuracy drops that Mud Slap causes. But overall, this is just another set for Seaking. I got one more for you, but I figured I would try and make a more defensive role, and I think Seaking can actually fit this really well, especially because it has a lot of utility options along with just toxic or burn stalling. And finally, for our third moveset of this video, we're going to be giving Seaking a special attacking role. And I kind of put this one last just because I believe it to be the least viable of the three, but I still think it's pretty viable. So first off, we're going to start by giving Seaking a modest nature to increase its special attack but lower its physical attack. And then we're going to be going with the ability Lightning Rod, which is really awesome and kind of essential for the set to potentially get that special attacking boost that Lightning Rod provides. But as for the EVs, we're going to put 4 into defense, 252 into special attack to give us our max special attack possible, and 252 EVs into speed to give us our highest speed possible with the modest nature. And as for the item, like with the first set, we're going to be going with a Life Orb as a way to increase our damage with all of our attacking moves. And as for the moves, this moveset is basically the same concept as the first one. We're basically wanting to set up speed with agility and then do as much damage as possible with all of our attacking moves. And with agility, we're going to be running Hydro Pump as our main stab water move. Even though it's a little inaccurate with 80 base accuracy, it's still the most powerful option, and honestly, I wouldn't use Surf in this situation just because Seaking's special attacking stat is really lacking without the Lightning Rod special attacking boost. But with that, we're also going to be using Ice Beam as a way for coverage, and Hidden Power Electric as also another solid coverage move. HP Electric is generally run with Ice Beam as a way to get some really solid type coverage because those two work very well together, similarly to how electric Pokemon often run HP Ice to get that type coverage in the same way. But overall, this is basically the best special attacking set that a Seaking could run, unless of course you want to run specs on it, which you could do by all means, and actually that would be pretty darn cool if somebody did that. So maybe that could be another option if you want to do that too. But that's pretty much all I have for this video. So I gave you a special physical attacking set and a defensive one for Seaking. And if any of you are curious as to a little bit of the history as to why I wanted to make this video, I was recently on Smogon and I just checked out the Seaking page out of pure curiosity, and it lists this really bad moveset for Seaking and states that it's the only viable moveset for Seaking to use if you want to use a Seaking, because Seaking is so awful. So I wanted to do this as a little bit of an in-your-face to them, and I don't normally do that, but for certain instances I really want to. So in-your-face Smogon, I presented everyone with 3 viable movesets for Seaking, all of which were better than the one that you had on your website. So for all those people that kind of think I'm a jerk right now, I apologize. I'm really not that mean. Okay, this is getting too long. So anyways, thank you everyone for watching, and take care as always, and goodbye.